be recorded from here henceforth. All right, and let's hope we're able to cover something important today, at least improve on our previous learning. In lesson 1, we talked around getting your data into Power BI, right? And I'm sharing my screen quickly. We talked about getting your data into Power BI and how it works. Okay, so today we'll be looking at other, how will I put it now? We're looking at other things we can do with Power BI. All right, some of them involves trying to get my screen up, please, just in case I stutter a little. Okay, yes, I'm just trying to go through our lesson plan here. Please confirm you can see my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. So in lesson 1, we talked around, we of course did some introduction to Power BI. We talked about the building blocks in Power BI. We talked about tiles, talked about visualizations, talked about, what's it called? The different building blocks, the reports, how to build reports using the different visualizations in Power BI. Okay, we talked about how to use Power BI. Then we now went into getting data into Power BI, how to connect data from your data source, getting data from Excel. Of course, we talked around some important things we need to consider when trying to drag your data into Power BI from Excel, making sure your data is available in a tabular format where you have defined headers and information you need under these headers are all stated in rows. Okay, then we did some basic transformation, all right, in Power BI. But today we'll start from this level again. We'll go back to this transforming data. We'll talk about combining multiple data sources and how to clean up your data. Talk about data modeling, and let's see how much justice we can do of number 2 here and number 3. All right, then we'll now discuss. So based on the data we have here today, which is, as you explained it, this is engagement data. All right, we'll use this particular data you have shared to discuss a bit of data modeling, a bit of cleaning up of data, a bit of transformation. All right, so I'll switch to my Power BI screen now, and would get this data just to refresh your memory how to get data into Power BI. We'll refresh your memory how to get data into Power BI. So please confirm when you can see my Power BI screen, because I need to share that screen quickly. I need to share my screen, Power BI. Please confirm when you can see my Power BI screen. Let me know when you see my Power BI screen.
I can see now.
All right, thank you. Now, just as I said in the very first session, to get your data in Power BI, all you simply need to do is to go through the get data, and there are different data sources you can get data from. Today, we'll still be connecting to Excel. However, hopefully by our next section, we can start dealing on how to get data from other kind of data sources, maybe beyond just Excel. Let's see how that goes. All right. So in this case, I have data already sitting on my system that's currently in Excel. All right. So I select Excel and I click on connect. At any point in time you don't understand the thing I'm talking about and you need me to clarify, please just call my attention to it and I'll do justice to that. So the data you sent to me this morning is Power BI test data. So I'll just select that one and click on open. All right. So what this does now is it tries to read the data, tries to understand the data I have, tries to understand the different structure of the data or the file I just asked it to open. Oh, this file is currently made up of a worksheet called sheet 1. And let me show you what it looks like here. This is the data. Okay, this is it here. It has a column here, and it is currently stored in sheet 1. Are we together? All right. So I just select sheet 1 here. because that is where my data is currently residing. Okay. And in this case, I hope I have saved this thing. I hope I have saved this thing. So in this case, instead of loading the data directly, I could load the data directly immediately, but we have some transformation to do. So I want to go straight into transformation, and we discuss a bit more around some extensive level of transformation before we then going into some data modeling in Power BI. All right. So I click on transform data, which is where we may spend some time on today. I noticed something in your data set, and I need you to explain to me why it's like that. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Then we can discuss on how to maybe make it better or clean it up. So I noticed something in your data. For instance, oopsie, what's going on here? Oh, okay, interesting. So I noticed something in your data. On this is your data by default, right? Are we together? So it would be nice if you could mute. That's fine at this point, so we
Okay.
can just discuss. All right. Um, I noticed that you have these items in a square bracket, and the question is, why do we have them in a square bracket? Do you know why? Is that how it is? Is that how it ought to be?
I really don't know why it's like that.
Okay.
I really don't know.
So what I'm assuming is the information inside the square bracket you use, not necessarily everything with the square bracket.
No, just the information inside the square bracket.
Okay, because that looks like data coming from SharePoint, and I think I know why it's coming like that.
Okay.
When in SharePoint, when you are given an option of selecting multiple items, it stores it in
Okay.
something called an array, which is represented by this square bracket. Really, do you understand?
Okay. Okay.
So that's what Power BI is working with here in terms of the data. So we'll try to find a way to clean that up. All right.
Okay.
I also noticed something here, which I can't see that in the data, but it looks like there is what we call a white line here, a blank space underneath your state. I don't know if you noticed that.
Okay.
How do I notice it? See, if you look at Ogun is a state, right? If you notice
Yes.
it has this underscore, blah blah blah. I'm assuming you don't
X
need all of that.
XOOD or
Yeah,
something.
exactly, which is trying to replace the white space with a character. All right. So we'll
Okay.
find how to maybe clean that up.
Okay.
Um, I'm assuming this is a date. I don't know why it's currently giving me number, but I'm assuming that is a date. We'll find how to
Mm,
make this a date,
okay.
and we'll discuss around some other kind of transformation we can do inside of Power BI here. Okay, this is
Okay.
currently the query editor. The
Okay.
very first thing I want us to deal on here is last time I think I showed us how to remove a column. For instance, let's assume you don't need let me see. Let's assume we don't need a particular column here. Let me see, which column can I do without? Let me assume I don't want to use my comment column. For some reason, I don't want the comment column. What I can do is I can just right click on the comment and click on what? Remove.
Remove. Okay.
And what does that do? It takes away the comment column from my um from the data I will use for my report. Mind
Oh,
you,
okay.
in Excel, the data still exists. Everything is still intact. Are you with
Okay.
me? This is the Excel data. Everything is still intact. Nothing
Okay.
has changed here, which is the beauty of using Power BI. You can transform your data without necessarily adjusting the original data itself.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
So I just removed the column called comments, and I may not use it for my report. Okay, let's
Okay.
assume these actions taken, I want all of them to be in capital letters. Instead of going back to my original data to change that from initial caps they are right now to capital letters, all I simply need to do is tell Power BI, you know what, I need this particular data to be in capital letters. And what does
Yes,
Power BI do?
exactly.
I can right click on it, change what's it called? That's going to be under transform, and
Transform. Oh,
you can notice
uppercase.
uppercase. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That automatically
Okay.
makes that one uppercase.
Sorry, I have a question. Can we
Sure,
also
please.
do that in Excel?
Yes, you can. If you want to do all these transformations in Excel, fine. But you are
Okay.
spending time on doing it in Excel. While look, let me give you that.
the reason you would spend um that 30 minutes, remember the analogy I gave before the session
Yes.
started.
Yes.
The reason you would spend 30 minutes running um a report every day, or 2 hours as the case may be, running a report every day, is because one, you have to maybe make them uppercase. Number two, you may need to remove some columns that are not necessary. Are you with
Okay.
me? And all of these
Yes.
other transformations are being done. Now, notice the difference between doing that in Excel and in Power BI. In Excel, every
Okay.
time I get the data, I have to write my formula to make this guy capital letters. And yes, I can do that in Excel. To answer your question, I can go back to my Excel here. Equal to
Okay.
upper. There's a formula called upper. Equal to
Okay.
upper. Select the column, hit enter,
Okay.
and everything will be capital letters. Now, the time I used
Okay.
to write this formula, okay, I just use that same time to do the same thing in Power
In
BI.
Power BI. Okay, I
And the
understand.
difference is not, that's still not the difference. The difference here now is, with Power BI, there's what we call apply steps here. Notice these apply steps here. For
Okay.
everything I have done, Power BI is recording it. It is
Okay.
it is keeping those things as things I must do every time the data comes in. So Power BI
Okay.
understands my data is coming from a source in Excel, that the
Okay.
navigation here is actually what worksheet or what table is the data currently residing in. That is the navigation here. All right.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
promoted headers. Let me show you. Let me take you through the different
Okay.
steps.
So I
Step one
understand for
is
every step you take, it keeps a record
it
by
keeps a
the side.
record by the
Okay.
side. So what that
Okay.
means is, every time when you update your data, when you update your data in Excel, instead of doing those things again, right? Power BI would run those steps for you automatically.
Automatically. Okay.
Do you
I get.
understand?
Yeah.
So in this case, it has accessed my data in
Okay.
worksheet one. That's opened up the
Okay.
data. This is what this one means. Promoted headers means this particular first row here looks like the header of this data. All right.
Okay.
It looks like the columns. The column names for each of these data I have here. So what Power BI
Okay.
does is it moves all of them to become headers. As you can
Okay.
see, they go from being a row one item to become the header of my data. Are you with me? Then the
Yes, I'm
next thing Power BI does is it now understands the data I have by change. It calls it change type. It now understands the data by translating the data. Oh, this data is currently a text. This one is currently a
okay.
number. This one is currently a date, and so on and
Okay.
so forth, like that. Do you
Okay.
understand? Remember, I mentioned
Yes.
something earlier that this is currently showing me number, whereas it's meant to be a date. Are you
Okay.
with me? We'll come
Yes.
back to that. I'll deal with that very, very soon. Very, very soon. Because but let's do other transformations first. Okay. Now I've made that one capital letters. Are you with me?
Yes.
Um, if I want to make another one small letters, you already get the drift. I can
Yes.
simply do that by going to make the other one small letters,
Okay.
or lowercase as it's
Lowercase.
called.
Okay.
Um, let me see. Let me see. I'm looking for something else I could do here. There are so many other transformations. I'm coming to before I go into the extensive transformations. I want to just pick up the very, very I'll say the easy ones in the eye. Okay. Um, let me see. Okay, let's remove this what's it called? This underscore blah 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 that is currently in front of the state here. Are we together? Let's remove the underscore and every item in between. I hope I still have my people here.
We are here.
Hello. Okay, we just wanted to be sure that we are together. All right, so I want to remove that. Okay, I have different I have options I can use here. One of them is I can click on transform here. Okay, I can click on transform here, and I can click on split columns. Are you with me? So splitting columns here, I can tell Power BI any place you see a particular set of characters, split this column. All right. So what do I do there? If I click on this column and I tell Power BI split, okay, what I can tell Power BI is look for a particular item, look for a particular character, and that's what we call split by delimiter. Okay, a delimiter is a value which you use to which Power BI just needs to understand. Whenever you see this value, split the text here. So once I click on this, what you notice is going to give me the option. I needed to copy something. I needed to copy something. I need to copy this character. Sorry. I need to copy this character. Okay. So I tell Power BI split. by delimiter. Okay, it's going to ask me what am I splitting by? Split by this underscore. Wherever you see this underscore, split the column there. Or I can tell it split by this whole item. Any place you see this, split. Okay, so what do I do? Once I click on OK, and notice what happens. Power BI creates a new column splitting the state and any other thing that is after this character. In this case, there is nothing. There's currently nothing after this that character. So I can now delete this state column and remove it. Okay, that's the second.
Cool.
Do you understand? So in this case, I now have my state Ogun, and that has automatically removed that one. That's one way. The other one I could do is by extracting. Instead of splitting, I can extract. Let me remove those steps. Now, there's no Ctrl Z in your query editor stage. So people who want to undo a particular thing that you've done, beauty of computer is they give you option of undoing things you've done in life. But I wish life could give you that option. But we'll come back to that part later. If let's this right now, if I want to undo what I just did, what I can simply do is this step is the last one here, which is remove columns. I don't want to remove that column any longer, and I don't want to. I don't need this one. Everything up to this delimiter I just did, I can remove all of that. So state comes back to how it was before. Okay, the state comes back to how it was before. Then instead of what's it called? Instead of splitting, I can tell Power BI to extract data. So extract the text that is before this particular character. So I can tell Power BI extract text before a particular delimiter. And in this case, what is the delimiter? I just paste that value back in there. So anytime it sees, it's going to pick every character before it. Okay. And once I click on OK, notice what happens. It extracts every item before that particular delimiter. And we are back to where we were before. Okay. So that is another way of doing that's either depending on what you need to do. Splitting could be the way to go if you need to separate items because maybe they are all together by with commas, separated with commas and the likes. That is one way. But if you want to extract, you can use the extracting option. All right, so that's one way. That's for that one. Now going to the core reasons. I hope I'm passing information to you here right now. Hope you're understanding me
I
so far.
understand.
All right, thank you very much. Fantastic. Now I want to go to this core reason. Now, so this is usually why I prefer the hands-on, right? Yeah, because these things I'm doing for me, I'm having fun doing them because it's something I would do even while I'm sleeping. Okay, but I wish you were also having Power BI in your system so that you could be doing this as well. So it's not looking like it was what he said. It's actually what you are doing. Okay.
I
So if there's
asked
any
a
hiccup,
question on WhatsApp.
okay. Oh, okay, I may have to go to WhatsApp. Maybe I just let me use my phone to get that for you. Let me see if I can respond to that. Do you mind ask the question? Ask the question. Ask the question. Let me hear
Okay,
you.
so when I tried to download and it gave me two options. One for
Your
318 megabytes download
okay, your
and one
system
for
probably should
290.
be your system should be, I believe, I think your system should be a 64-bit system. I know your system, so I think system should be a 64-bit system. So you can select the very first option. You can select the
Okay,
very first option.
318.
Yes. However,
Okay.
I don't know the kind of data bandwidth you use, so it don't affect your call. You may want to pend your downloading till after the session. That may be a better, that may be
Okay.
because it's
Oh,
because of bandwidth issues, just so that
okay.
you don't lose a particular part of the conversation. All right.
Okay.
But just ahead of next time, just ensure you have Power BI installed. Then we can. So yeah, you're also working while we are working here.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next thing I need to do again is I also need to extract because you mentioned at the beginning this core reason is item between a particular square bracket. I need to extract the items within that bracket. What can I tell Power BI to do? Okay, I can do the same extract. All right. And this time around, I can say text between a particular delimiter. Okay, I can tell Power BI instead of text before this time around, I can now tell text between delimiters. So it's going to ask me what is the starting delimiter. I'll tell it the square bracket and the quote. What is the end delimiter? The put and the closing bracket, and I click on OK. And notice what Power BI does. It brings out cleanly every core reason I have inside that that particular column. Are you with me? So that is for that one. Let me see what else we could do around here. Um, Currently, staff ID. I see your staff IDs are in numbers, but these numbers are probably numbers you don't want to use for calculation. They're probably numbers, they're just IDs. They're not supposed to be summed up. So instead of telling Power BI to consider this column as a number, I can tell Power BI, I don't consider this guy as a number because I am not going to use it for any summation. I'm probably going to use it just for counting and the likes. So I tell Power BI, change this data type from what it is currently. See where I clicked? I clicked on this I'll call it number or this type here. Currently, this is 123, identifying that this is a number, a whole number. This one here is showing me that this is a decimal number. This is showing me that this is a text. ABC means text. So if I click on here, I can tell Power BI transform this to what text. Identify these numbers as text so that I can use them for I can use them as text and not as numbers, so they don't sum it up when I need to use them. So those are transformations being done within your data. I also noticed something here in terms of your T number. Okay, in terms of your T number. If you notice here, some of them have spaces. This one seems to have a space at the beginning. Are we together? Yep. I would love to get some response while we are having this
Yes, yes.
conversation.
I
Okay.
can hear you.
All right, thank you. I'll just run understanding that you're there. And if there's anytime you have any question, please don't feel to call me back. All right. In this case, if you notice this your T572, it has a space at the beginning. How do I
Yes, there's
know?
a space.
Yeah. And this other one doesn't.
It's really obvious. And
It's
T
really
five
obvious.
nine nine
Oh,
five
okay.
nine nine also has a
So
space.
in that case, these are called I think these are what we call white spaces. Uh, so those are called what we call white spaces. So they are just
Okay.
there. So in this case, there's something called trim and clean in Power BI. Trimming, I think if I remember well, trimming is for removing spaces at the beginning or at the end of text. All right.
Okay.
While clean is for removing if I'm not wrong, for removing the next line. As if there's just like you see Ogun State we had here earlier. All right.
Okay.
Let me show you an instance. In this Ogun State right now, if I'm not wrong, you can see there's a blank space underneath. All right. So to remove this blank space underneath, you need to, I think, clean it. If I'm not wrong, that should be clean. Cleaning removes the
Okay.
blank space underneath. That's the white spaces underneath. While
Underneath.
trimming
Okay.
removes the
The space
beginning and
before the
the space
okay.
before and after the character. So in this
Okay.
case, we tell Power BI to do the exact same thing. All right. I can right click on it, my T
Okay.
number, and I can tell Power BI transform, and in this case,
Okay.
trim.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
notice if you notice the text have adjusted. I don't know if you notice the difference between
Yes, I
what was
noticed.
exactly.
Yes.
So that's for that one. Do you understand? And let's even assume by chance somebody had entered a white space underneath your character. You can right click there and tell Power BI, just in case you find anything like that, clean it up as well.
Okay.
Do you understand? Just
Okay.
in case, just in case, just in case. Okay.
Okay.
So that one is done. All right. So these are basic transformations you could do using Power BI. This is the query editor. Are you with me? We have not started
Yes.
building our reports, but what we are doing is that the we are setting the ground. We are laying the foundation for
For the
easy
report.
reporting going forward. Do you
Okay.
understand? Later down the line,
Yes.
when you need to later down the line when you get new data sets, instead of coming to do this all over and over again in Excel, just like if you're going to do that report for every 30 minutes, every 2 hours, right?
Okay.
Doing this foundational work, what that does for you is that anytime your new data comes in, Power BI runs these queries. They're called queries. Power BI runs these queries on your data and
Okay.
cleans them up, changes this everything from lowercase to uppercase as you want. All
Okay.
right, and
Mm.
making them ready for your reporting. And once the Power BI is done running that, any data set, any report that is based on that particular data is now refreshed. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Yes.
So that is for transformations. Let's see, there's a lot more that you can do here. I'll be honest with you. Right now, your data set is still, let me say, is warming up where Power BI
Okay.
is, because there's a lot more Power BI can do when it comes to your data. Are you with me? There's a lot more Power BI can do when it comes to your data. So I can
Okay.
imagine maybe a lot more complex scenarios that you may have in the near future. Just think about it. If you have any question at that point in time, just drop me a message. I can reach
Okay.
out to you and we can definitely, let me even try one more. I can see replace values. Let's quickly touch on replace values. Let's assume
Okay.
you have, let me see, what can we replace? Let me see, what can we replace? Let me see, what can we replace? Okay, let's just call this FCT. Instead of calling it FCT, let's call it Abuja, because you just want to, we want to try a lot more things. We want to put Power BI to test. We want to put Power BI to work. So I can tell
Okay.
Power BI, any place you see FCT, right? Call it Abuja, because people find Abuja much more interesting, or that's what they
Okay. Just
understand.
like what I did before,
Okay, just like what you did. How do you mean?
before sending the data,
Oh,
changing
fantastic!
names.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that just like that. So in this case, I can tell Power BI replace values. So any place you see FCT, all right,
Okay.
just give me Abuja.
It
Okay, I'll
is
type
really
Abuja.
easy. It is really easy.
You understand? That
Yes.
automatically takes care of your of the naming of that particular text. Do you
Okay.
understand? Let
Yes.
me see, what else can we do? If you need to even rename a column, you can do that. Um, don't worry. I believe when we will have more complex scenarios, and as we go ahead, we would continue improving on that. Okay. Now that is for transformation. There's a lot more that you can do up here.
Okay.
There's a lot more that you can do. Just look at them, just consider them. There's a lot more you can do using these transformations up here.
Okay.
All right. And
Yeah.
it's all going to be dependent on the data you have. Are you with me? It's all going to be dependent on the data you have. When we connect to
Okay.
our SharePoint, there'll be some level of transformation we need to do. When we connect data from SQL database, there'll be some level of transformation we need to do, but it all depends on the data you have coming
Okay.
in. All right. Um, I was working with someone of recent. Let me see. Can I remember the person's own scenario? Yes, I was working with someone of recent. Um, I was working with someone of recent, and the person was looking to calculate the age of some people. All right. The
Okay.
person already had their date of birth. Okay. And instead of calculating the age one after the other, what we just needed to do was to look for the date column. Let's even see if we can calculate age here. These numbers, we need to change them. We need to change them. We need to change them. We need to change those numbers to dates so that we can calculate age. Let's even see if let's see if we can do that one quickly.
Okay.
Are you with
Yeah.
me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay.
On the
So
4th of,
you say what?
I don't know. I
What
don't know
happened
why
before
it
12?
came out. I don't know why
You say
it's
you don't
been
know.
No, no. I said on the 4th of, I was trying to see if 4 means 4th of a particular month, but it won't work that way. I don't know. It's been, whenever we pull out data, even for TMP contracts, it comes out this way. I don't know
Okay,
what's
let me
happening.
explain. Let me
Mm.
explain. Let me explain. That is basically that is Excel. That is system. Let me explain what's going on there. The system understands, right,
Okay.
that uh the system doesn't know a date. Let me put it that way. Computer doesn't know a date. I say that one
Okay.
categorically. It doesn't know a date. What does it do? What does it know? It knows. Let me give you an instance. You see these dates you are seeing here in Excel, they're actually numbers like
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Okay.
How do I know this? Because what the computer, like a standard that has been agreed upon is since January 1, I think 1900,
Okay.
1900, I think, 0101. All right.
Okay.
Is this
Okay.
date, all right? How many days have we been from this particular date? That is what this is
Oh,
representing.
okay. 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 Okay.
So if you look at this is 44,000, right?
Yes.
44,166. Let's just try 44,166. Let me add this number to this date. And what does it give you?
Okay, I get.
So
I
there
get.
is actually a number, but the system is, when you tell it, okay, this is supposed to be a date, what it does is it calculates that particular number, how many days
Okay.
away from 1900 has it been?
Okay.
Are you with
Okay.
me? And when
Yes,
it
I'm
has a
true.
decimal, like the one we are seeing here, 41 blah 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 to dot something something, it means that it is a fraction of a day. That is the hours within a day or the minutes within a day.
Okay. Okay, I
Do you
get.
understand? So
Yes.
in that case, this is probably this your date probably has time in it. That is just like I can say 1022 and all of those things. Do you understand? So that
Okay.
is what this
Yes.
basically is. This 44 whatever whatever is actually how many days away from 1900 it has been. Okay,
Okay.
but let's see. There's something that's coming to mind. I want to try something. I've not tried this before. I want to try something. If Power BI will understand, but I don't expect it to. I don't expect it to. I don't expect it to because uh it's probably going to ask me to write some formulas, and I don't want to go into formula writing just yet. Okay, let me explain what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm trying to convert these numbers now to dates
Okay. In
in
Power BI.
in in Power BI exactly. Okay. Now that I have this number came at some point. Let me see if it's something I can transform quickly. I don't want to go through that extensive transformation, but that will require me to write a formula. Because how you know is you can there's something we call date from there's a date from text formula. Let me show you date dot from text. But this formula is going to be necessary if I am not the one that's managing this data. Why do I say so? If you go back some steps before, I want to just hack this in because it's not something that we need to spend time on. If you go back some steps before, let me go to this change type here. Before I change the type, notice that my data is currently understood as date.
Okay.
Let me explain what I mean by that. In Power BI, in Excel here, what you sent to me, the check was coming as numbers. Let me show you what I did. Let me show you what I did. It came as numbers. If I remember well, it came as numbers. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let me see how much I can see here. If I continue this to an extent of exactly, it came like this, right? It came as a number,
Okay.
right?
We can't
What did I
see.
do?
We can't see. Okay. Okay. It's like it's going back.
Can you see the Excel now?
Okay. Okay. I can see the numbers now.
You can see the
Because I
numbers,
could still
okay?
see the dates and then, but now I can see the numbers.
Okay. All right. So in this case, I had these numbers here, right? Because I know that that's
Okay.
supposed to be date. What did I do? I highlighted it in Excel here, and I told
Okay.
Excel, please make this a date, or I can go to more formats, right?
Okay.
And go to I just select either you do date time or you can use date. If you use date, it's
Okay.
going to remove the time aspect of the value. You go to show
Okay.
you 1st December 2020,
Okay. Without
or
the time. Okay.
without the time, or you can look
Okay.
for the one that matches what you need here. This one matches what
Okay.
I need. Day,
Okay.
day, month, year, year. Do you understand?
Okay.
And the
Okay.
hour, then you cannot select that one. This
Oh,
gives you
okay. That's,
this
can you
represents your
imagine?
data
I
back
I
to
really needed I really needed that particular tool yesterday for my TMP reporting.
I
So I
can
had to
imagine.
go back again
I
to
can
the
imagine.
to download and start writing it out one by one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, then that means this one works for you. Then you've learned this one today,
Yes.
then.
Yes.
Okay. So what you can do in that case is, all right, this since this is noted, I'll just save this. Once I save
Okay.
this, my data is already understood as as date. But
Okay.
Power BI still says it as a number when you proceed. But at this stage, before it changes the data type, it is currently seeing
Okay.
it as a date as text, right?
Okay.
It does not identify whether it is a number, whether it's a date, whatever it is. I cannot tell
Okay.
Power BI at this point understand this guy to be a date.
Okay.
Imagine where I went, see the step I came back. So I want to put a step in between before the next step. So do this before this. Okay?
Okay.
Understand this guy as a date first before changing the type. Are you with
Okay.
me? So what do I
Okay.
do? I can just remember what I said when it comes to changing of data types. You can click here and tell Power
Okay.
BI, understand this guy as what? A date and
Date
time.
and time.
Are you with
Okay.
me?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. I don't. There are probably some things you might experience, but let's not go into the different issues that may occur, because the issues that may occur would come with in due time. So
Okay.
once I tell it to understand it, because the issue I'm talking of right now is some people store their date as day, month, year. Some people store
Okay.
their date as month, day, year. Okay. The system will try to understand it from your own system's point of view. Currently, my own system is understanding date as day, month, year. Okay.
Okay.
Let me give
Okay.
you an instance. You see, this is currently 1st of December 2020 as per the actual
Yes.
data, right?
Yes.
But if your system is currently in the format of month, day, year, all right,
Okay.
it will understand this data to be January 12. Your system will understand it to
Okay.
be January 12. Do you understand?
Okay.
But there
Okay.
are ways you can force Power BI to understand it in a particular format. All of those things, if you ever encounter them, just reach out. I will point you in the right direction, because that is
Okay.
obviously going to be the joy of using Power BI, because you get to experience these things, you get to tackle them, you get to overtake them, and once you overtake them, it gives you this joy that you've done this one. This is never going to be a problem again. All right.
Okay.
But my system is currently in day, month, year. So obviously when I select this right now, it's going to understand it. Okay. Notice what
Okay.
happened. Notice that this has now changed to, notice I changed to a calendar. Let me go back
Yes.
the step before. It's currently showing you ABC 1, 2, 3, telling you I don't understand whether this is a text or a number. But when I
Okay.
change the type first, it now understands this guy to be what? A date.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now, this date we
Okay.
can use to do anything we need to do in our report. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
of course, this guy is still telling it to, is still understanding it as a number. So I need to remove this step. I don't need this step. I don't like this step, but I know that I don't need this step. Notice I have a change type before this one, so I don't want the second change type, because this second one is changing it back to a number. Okay.
Okay.
So I can
Okay.
remove this one. Okay. If I remove that step. If I remove that step. So I
Okay.
believe we'll be good
So
for the
it
most part.
permanently stays as a date.
As a date, thank you very much. You get. So
Okay.
every other thing, we are good. Every other thing, we are good so far. Now, I mentioned a friend of mine who wanted to calculate age. All right. So what did I do? This is submitted as, right?
Okay.
I can, in this case, that will take me to the next transformation option we have here called add columns.
Okay.
Some of the transformations you have, I say some or all. I don't know, let me use some. Some will be a safer word to use. Some transformations you can do here, instead of doing them and replacing the value on them, you can create them and add a new column. Let me give you
Okay.
an instance. This state right now, assuming I want to transform it and make it all capital letters, but I don't want to remove this current state. Okay,
Okay.
I want to write another state. What do I need to do? I can go to add columns. All right. I will still do, okay, this guy doesn't have, yes, it has uppercase. But you see, it has uppercase here. But this uppercase,
Yes.
when it is doing this uppercase, it's going to now create a new column instead of changing this one. Let me explain. Let me
Okay.
do
So
that.
it will create a new column by the side with the uppercase.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay. I understand.
now notice the new column here called uppercase. I can change the name,
Okay.
of course. It has created a new column called uppercase, while the
Okay.
previous column is still here.
Still exists. Okay.
Do you understand? So
Yes.
that is a slight difference between transformation, that's the transform option
And
here,
add column.
and add column.
Okay. So
There are still transformations
assuming we use the option transform, it would have just changed it to uppercase in that same
in
column.
that same column.
But because we
Exactly.
used add column, it will create another column by the side with what we want to see.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Thank you very
Okay.
much. That's clear enough. So, I just need to confirm, is GD still on this call?
Yeah,
Oh, he
today is
disappeared. Oh, I believe you probably watched the video. Okay, no problem. Let's continue. Important things that you're following, and there's
okay.
question, there's answering, and we can
Okay.
obviously continue. All right.
Okay.
I'll obviously make the video available to him afterwards.
Okay.
Um,
And to me too.
of course, to you too. Thank you very much. All
Okay.
right. Um, so that's for the transform. You understand that, right? I was talking
Yes,
about
I do.
calculating an age. So instead of transforming and turning this whole date, this whole beautiful date information to age, I can just add a column and then click on
Okay.
this my date here and tell it to
Okay.
calculate age.
Age.
Now,
Oh,
now
okay.
notice what happens. It calculates the age as a
Okay.
duration. It calculates
Oh,
as a duration. This is a duration. Now a duration is
okay.
made up of years, more. I don't know if I like calling months.
Okay.
It's imagine you having a time a clock. You know this
Okay.
stopwatch. You know
Okay.
it runs from seconds to minutes to hours and the rest. So
Oh,
this
okay. Okay.
duration
Okay.
that calculated it as a duration,
Okay.
right? Now I
Okay.
can now tell Power BI instead of yes, I see that you have calculated it as a duration, all right?
Okay.
But transform this duration to years. I need only the years or the
Okay.
months or the days. Are you with me? In your own case, of course, you cannot do years now because this is 2020, so you cannot do years. You probably will do days. Are you with me?
Days.
Okay.
Okay.
So what we can do in this case is we can then go to we can transform by adding a new column. All right. Let me
Okay.
transform by adding a new column. I can transform
Okay.
and add a new column and tell you to give me in what? In days. What does it give me?
Oh, okay.
18
Okay.
days.
Okay. 18 days. Okay.
But I can also transform this one, right? Instead of adding a new column, I can also transform it. Remember, I talked about transformation and adding of
Add
columns.
column. Yes.
I can transform it and also tell it to give me hours, for instance.
Okay. Okay.
What happens? It transforms it and gives me my age in what? Hours.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So, no, this is actually not hours. This is one, it just extracted the hours. This one did not add up all the hours. It gives me extraction. Then there's a difference between total hours and there's a difference between total hours and hours. Let me
And
explain.
hours. Okay.
Yes. Hours means extract just like 18 days, 1 hour, right?
Okay.
Extract the hours in that one.
Okay.
That 1 hour, extract it and present it
Okay.
for me. While
Okay.
18 days and 18 days, let me even use a shorter period so we can easily calculate. 1 day, 2 hours. Okay,
Okay.
extract just the 2 hours. All right.
Oh, okay.
But total
Okay.
hours means 1 day, which is 24 hours,
For hours
plus
plus
two
another
hours,
two
add
hours,
them together and
26
give me 26
hours.
hours. So that's the
Okay.
difference
Okay.
between hours and
And
total hours.
total hours. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you understand? So just in case
Yes.
you ever get you need any one of them, know which one you're asking for. Okay.
Okay.
Some people
Okay.
want to know um the let me see. Some people want to know the number of days they have some people have been in the business or it can be anything. I'm trying to look for a very good example right now. You want to know how many years people have been in a business, right? You just want
Okay.
to categorize them in terms of years. If they have not gotten
Okay.
to 1 year, you just want to maybe regard them as zero. So in that case, you're extracting just the years. You're not extracting
Okay.
the total years because some people who have spent 1 year and 6 months. 1 year and 6 months is actually 1.5 years.
Yes.
Are you with me? But you want to extract just 1 year. Sorry, you just want to extract one because the person has not gotten to 2 years yet. So in that case,
Okay.
if you do years, it will extract just one. But if you do total years, it will give you 1.5.
Okay.
Do you understand? So
Yes.
understand the difference between all of that. Like this one right now, this guy is currently giving me uppercase, and I don't like the fact that he's giving me uppercase as the name of this column. I want to change the name of this column. I can just double click on the column here and call it state state um state redefined. Let me just put it that way. And need to give the column a new name.
New name. Okay.
Do you understand? Mind you, all of these things we've been doing have been on the same data we have in Excel. We have not changed our data in Excel. We've not deleted anything. We've not added anything.
Okay.
Do you get? We've not deleted anything. We've
Yes.
not added anything. But the data as it is in Excel is still intact.
It's
But
still
what have we
intact
been doing? We have been doing all our transformations on that data
on Power BI.
on Power BI. Make sense? Oh,
Yes, I
something very
understand.
important which we've not done so far is save. Please always try and save. Um,
Okay.
in this case, I'm not done with my transformations, which is what we are doing here, but we can just save the one we have done so far. Okay.
Okay.
If Even is asking me Do you want to apply or you want to apply later? I will apply later because I am not done with my transformation. Okay,
Okay.
I'll apply later so I can save my reports for now. So just say what's the name of that? What's the name of Power BI test report? I'll just leave it the same name as
Okay.
for Excel. So it has saved the Power BI file, and it has saved the different queries we've written so far. Okay,
Okay.
there's something interesting here. All right, and maybe I'll just use that one to round up my transformation conversation with you. Okay,
Okay.
I'll use that one to round up my transformation conversation with you here. I know these T numbers are meant to carry T at the beginning. Don't worry, I know your data to
Yes.
an extent for the sake of this conversation. I know these T numbers are meant to carry a T at the beginning.
Yes.
Now, let's take our transformation a little further. Okay,
Okay.
a little further. Now, I'll tell Power BI there are different ways of doing this. Okay, I usually I usually tell people because I want to make Power BI look so easy and so interesting. You can actually use click to actually achieve your results. Some people can choose to write the formulas. All right,
Okay.
depending on what your goal is, or depending on how your geekiness. In case you want to get really geeky, you want to get into writing the formulas. Everything is up to you. All right.
Okay.
Now, there are different ways. One way is I can tell Power BI any text you see here that does not start with T, add a T at the beginning.
Oh,
Okay,
that's great.
that is one. I can tell
Okay.
Power BI everyone that has T here at the beginning, remove it.
Okay.
Let all of them be the same. Okay, then I
Okay.
can then add a T myself.
Okay.
Are you with me? Which is the one I would do
Yes.
right now. I can tell Power BI, okay, check if this has a T. If it doesn't have a T, add a T. If this one has a T, retain it. Those are different options to use. But everything
Okay.
is all going to boil down to your level of experience and how much you really want to achieve that result. The important thing is achieving the result. Okay. If you are going to use click to achieve your result, fantastic. If you are going to write the formulas to achieve your result, all the best. Some people
Okay.
want to write if this, do this. Some people may want to get to that level, but don't worry, you don't have to write all the formulas in the world to achieve results in Power BI. I always try to explain that to people, you don't have to do that. Have fun while you are using Power BI, please. Have fun. We talked about
Okay.
extracting earlier. So let's extract um, every item here that has a T at the beginning. I'll select the column, extract
Okay.
text after delimiter.
Delimiter.
Yes, let me extract every text after a delimiter. Okay,
Okay.
the delimiter in this case is going to
T.
be 2.
T.
All
Yes.
right,
Yes.
and it's going to ask me the number of delimiters to skip. That I'm not skipping anyone from the start. Yes, so every text after the delimiter, please extract them, and I click on OK. Now notice what
Okay.
happens. If I click on OK, oh no, that did not help me.
Okay. Okay. I
That took
think
away, that took away everything. Okay, I'm
what
listening.
we
I'm
should have
listening.
what we should have done, because we want
I'm
to
listening.
remove just the T. So we should have done after delimiter, not before.
After I
Then
did
we
after
should
the
have
limiter actually. Let's see.
okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Extract text after delimiter. Hmm. Okay. Let's try a different transformation. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try a different transformation. You said I tried before delimiter, B. No, you said what I did was actually after
After
delimiter.
okay,
Yes.
before the
Um.
if we're doing before the limiter, what will now be the character we want to remove? Because it's just the T we're trying to remove.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, okay,
Um.
okay, okay. I understand what we'll do. So if we're
Okay.
doing before the limiter, then we'll use the number. But there are different numbers.
There are different numbers. I get
Ah,
exactly.
what can we do
Okay.
to
No. No biggie.
okay,
Let's see which one we can. The one we did actually just now could work, but I need to
okay,
duplicate the column first. Let me explain what I
okay,
mean. What we did right now could actually work. Okay, let me explain. So I can go ahead right now and tell Power BI, okay, add a column and duplicate this current column. So let's take it
okay,
to a different column. Okay. So in this case, I want
okay,
to transform this one, and I want to transform, let's say, text. Um, let's try text before delimiter, after
okay,
delimiter. Okay, and I click on OK. So it gives me all the ones that have numbers in them, right?
Okay.
Right? It gives me all the
Okay.
ones that have number in them. So what I can tell Power BI to do now is, in case you find anyone that is blank, right? Add a
Okay.
T. In case you don't find anyone that is blank, remove just retain what was there before. Sorry, just it's called a
Okay.
conditional column. It's called a
Okay.
conditional column. I can add a column now. Okay. I'll just call
Conditional
it a
column. Okay.
conditional column. And
Okay.
I'll tell Power BI. Now the condition will define it we'll define it together. If the T number copy is blank, okay, if it is blank, which means okay, oh no, that will not give me what I want. That will not give
I
me what
noticed
I
that the
want.
T number copy, the option for T number copy was there
Actually, it's
already.
fine. It's fine. If the T number is blank, is empty, like the T number is currently some of them are empty.
Okay.
Some of them are empty, right?
Yes.
So if it is empty, return the information I had in the initial T number. If the T number column is blank, return the information I had in the initial T number
T
column.
number. Okay.
If it is not blank, retain what I have in the current T number column.
Okay.
That is this copy. Don't worry,
Okay.
we'll see what happens. Let's just click on OK first. Now notice this
Okay.
one is
Okay.
blank. It gives me 584 that was currently in the previous
Column.
column. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Okay. And in this one right now, it is not blank, so it gives me 561. All right.
Okay.
But that is not the
Okay.
end of it. We actually wanted the T at the
T
beginning,
in
right?
yes.
What we can
Yes.
now do is tell Power BI transform. Let me see. There should be a way of adding something here. I've not done this one before, but there should be a way. Let me see. Let me see. Extract. No, I'm not extracting. No, I'm not adding that one. Let me see. Format. No, don't worry. Add prefix, add suffix. Exactly. Add prefix, add suffix. Okay. So I can add a prefix, right?
Okay.
You know what that means already. I can add a
Yes.
prefix
Yes.
T, and that
And
gives
that's
me
T.
voila,
Okay.
and that's done.
Okay.
Okay, that's done. So
Yes.
what I can do now is these other T number columns that I don't need, I can take them away. I can just select the two of them using my control. I hold the control key and remove the both of them. Sorry, let me just remove them one after the other so I don't make things complex. Right click on this one, remove, go to the other one as well. Where is it? And remove. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I can then go back to this new column I have and give it a new name, T number. Okay.
Okay.
And there we have our new T
Okay.
number column. Make sense?
Yeah. Really
So
cool.
this age, I don't think I need it. I can remove it. Mind you, as everything you're doing is obviously creating a step here. And
By
every step is
other applied
building,
steps.
yes. Every step is building on the previous one. That's the way these queries work.
Okay.
Let me explain what a query is for Power BI. A query really is more like your data. All right.
Okay.
So from the very beginning, your data is in this format. Okay. This is format as it came up in Excel, right? The data is in this format,
Okay.
right? So what Power BI does is, okay, this is version 1 of my data. So version 2 of my data, I'll build on the previous one by removing something. Okay.
Okay.
Without the version 1, without the very first one, version 2 will not work. Are you with me? Let me.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't worry. This is not. This. Please. I'm not insulting here. Please. I don't want ladies to take it that I'm insulting. In case any lady gets to watch this video later, your foundation you get to apply on your beautiful faces is on top of something, right? I know there are
Yes.
different levels you guys apply it, right? You have
Yeah.
to apply one before the next one before the next one. Basically, what you are
Uh-uh.
doing there is that what?
That's if you're going for a party now.
Okay, that's if you're going for a party. Thank you very
Then
much.
yes,
In
but
this
if
case,
it's
you're going
just
for a
like
Power BI,
your everyday outing, then you use just foundation.
you just
But if you are
foundation.
going for like if you want to do the total makeup,
Yeah,
then you use concealer, then foundation, then you use there's something we call the highlighter. You use the highlighter
fantastic.
and
So
everything.
all of one has to come before the other, right? One has to come before
Yes.
the other. You won't.
Yes.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know the levels, but you probably won't put
No,
one
you
before.
do concealer first.
Exactly.
If you have
So you
spots, you do concealer first, then foundation, then you do
okay.
your highlighter, then bronzer later,
All of this,
and the
all of this
and the
beautiful
spray.
stuff, right? Thank you. So you can imagine putting spray first. You are probably not you're
No, no,
not
no, no,
getting the
no, no,
job
no.
done. You
It
understand?
will be a disaster.
It will exactly. So in this case, what we are doing is we are trying to beautify our report by making the data.
Okay,
We are trying to you are beautifying your query with every step you are carrying further. So you have done
okay,
the very first step, you have done the next step, you have done the next step, then you have done the next step. And
okay.
the previous step is building, the next step is building on the previous one. The next step is building on the previous one. The next step is building on the previous one. That is
Previous one.
what these apply steps here you have on the right hand side is. Okay. And let me see. So let's assume we are done with our transformation of data for now. Okay. At least we'll know. Let me see how far we have gone in terms of what we say we want to discuss today. Um, Transformation. Okay, we'll talk about multiple data sources very soon.
Clean
Um,
data.
Clean data. We've cleaned up our data a lot
Yes.
this morning. Okay, we'll now go back into some of this. All right, so let's in this case, of course, when you're done with all the beautiful stuff you need to do in your query editor, this is not where the job ends. The job is just starting. We now need to go into I call it the fun part of part. No, they're actually all fun. But nobody appreciates the effort you have put into your query editor
Okay.
until they see the beautiful report you've done with it.
Done.
Okay. So now
Yes.
let us go to building the beautiful report. The um you've done all the beautiful makeup, right? But people will
Yes.
not appreciate it if you don't come outside. So you want to put one for the gram, okay? You want to bring one
Okay.
particular report that people will see
No,
and say,
at first
wow.
you look scary even after
You,
you've used the highlighter and everything. Then you now have to blend. That's what now makes
mm,
it look.
there we
It's
go.
the
There we
blending
go.
part that makes it beautiful.
There we go. So now let's go and blend our let's go
Our
and blend this
report.
query into a report.
Okay.
Okay, let's go and blend this
Okay.
query into a report that people would actually appreciate and say
Okay.
wow and give it their thumbs up or give it their like or give it their comment. So now let us
Okay.
in this case close and apply.
Okay.
Okay, close and apply. Then it will bring me now to my reporting canvas in Power BI. It's
Okay.
going to load this. It's trying to create a connection and all of those stuff in the model.
Okay.
And blah blah blah, loading your data to model. It's reading your it's going through your report, your data. All right.
Oh,
Now
okay.
it's going through your data and it is done. It is now ready for you to use to create a
Okay.
report.
Okay.
Okay. Now um your report really, if you from lesson one, your report really is just now drag and drop. Drag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just drag core reasons out.
Okay.
I can count if I want to count my If I want to count my calls, I can just drag my call ID out here and
Okay.
tell it to count by
Okay.
clicking there to count. Okay, it obviously counts all of them, but that's not we are going to build on this. This is not how we are going to build in on our report. Okay, I've just
Okay.
done that for local siding. I want to do
Okay.
that for call type. I
Okay.
drag that one out and I drag out my call ID again
ID. Okay.
and now count it. Okay, in this case, I'll just count.
Okay.
Sometimes you may not even have an ID. How do you go about that? Those are things we will need to look into. I can drag out my channel, all
Okay.
right, and I can drag out my call ID as
ID.
well
Okay.
and count it again. Basically, you can keep doing this over and over and over again. And
Okay.
when you want to turn them into beautiful charts, you can simply click on any of the visuals and select the kind of chart you
Okay.
want. Let's say you want to use a pie chart or a donut chart. I usually love
Okay.
the donut. I don't take donut, but I
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
donut
So
chart.
you could have like
So
six of them on one page.
if you want to, everything now is going to be everything from now. You talked about the blending. I think the blending is now going to be based on how much how much artistic the person is. I don't know if that makes any if that analogy makes sense, but it's going
Yes.
to now become how much of how artistic do you really want your report to look like, or
Look
how
like
much
okay.
information. Sometimes it's not it doesn't have to be about the artistry. Sometimes it has to be about what information are you trying to pass across?
Okay.
What
I
information are
guess
you
I'm
trying to
going to
pass
use
across?
this method for my reports on Monday.
That is a winner for you, because that is the reason why you are joining this session. The
Okay.
important thing is that you are able to now take this knowledge, maybe work on it over this weekend, and that if you don't have other engagements, and
Okay.
then see if you can build a report.
Hello? 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 I can't hear him again. I hope you know my data. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, oh, sorry, I had to switch my system. My
Okay.
other system just had an issue, and this one was taking a while to set up. Sorry for that interruption.
No
All right, I
problem.
don't know what did I mention. What did I mention last? What did you remember me saying last?
Okay, so I was talking about how I would use the Power BI reporting for my Monday reports, and you said that that would be like a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I believe for you that would actually be much more practical, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That you are able to use it now to deliver on a certain report that you probably spend. I don't know how long you used today on your report, but yeah, the very first time, I usually don't shy away from it. I don't shy away from telling people the very first time you build your report, it may take you a while. It may take you a very
Yes.
short while, but that very first investment of time,
Okay.
again, because it's probably new to you, that very first investment is going to save you a whole lot down the line. Are you with me? It's going to save
Yeah.
you a whole lot of
Yes, I
time down the
understand.
line.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning one example I had of a friend, a colleague, who resumes 8 o'clock and sends a report out at 10 o'clock because she has to use the 2 hours to generate that report. Okay. But
Okay.
when we are done with her reporting, when we are done with taking her reports to Power BI, that report was
Okay.
done in 20 minutes tops.
Okay.
Because that 20 minutes now, I'm talking of the time it also takes to even get the data. Are you with me?
Okay.
Get the data and put it into your Power BI. That
Okay.
is also part of the 20 minutes that we were able to save. So 2 hours to 20 minutes, I see that as a huge improvement. I see that as a huge gain. At least you get to use your time to
Okay.
do something else as against just generating reports. Someone that resumes 8 o'clock and the first thing the person is doing for 2 hours, generating reports every day,
Reports. Yes.
is not fun.
And
Whereas the work
and
for you,
that's me on Monday mornings.
Okay, you're welcome. So hopefully you'll be able to now transform a bit of your reporting, if not all, to using Power BI, and then save yourself. And let's even see how much time, right, you even get to use to get your reports ready, and maybe come and share your own, I'll call it your own results in due
Okay.
time, in due course. Okay,
Okay.
so I would just share my screen again. I just had to switch systems briefly, and
Okay.
I need to get the initial file I was working on. So just give me a few minutes. Let me transfer the files, then I'll continue on this older system, please. Just a few minutes, please. Just a few seconds of interruption. Hold on, please. Hi, Vicky. Hope you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Sorry for this breaking
Don't
transmission. I
worry.
have the file on my system now. I'm trying to open it up. So
Okay.
please give. Yeah, I have the Excel now. So it's now the Power BI that's left.
Okay.
Power BI is coming up. Coming up shortly. All right. So where were we? Power BI. Right, so I'm getting the data into this
Okay.
um into the new system. So I've actually transferred it from the other one to where I am to this new system. So
Okay.
please, I'll be sharing my screen in a bit. Okay, advanced editor, sharing my screen. Confirm. Please confirm when you can see my screen.
Okay. Okay, I can see now. Is that your baby?
Yeah, that's
So
me.
cute. Oh.
Yeah. All right. All right. So that's for that. Now, sorry for that interruption.
Okay.
So as I said earlier, it's basically going to be for you to
Drag.
click, depending on what you want to see.
Okay.
Can be by contract, drag the call
Oh,
ID in there
ID. Okay.
and count it. All right. But this way I'm showing you right now is not, I'll say it's not the most efficient way to build a report in Power BI. Okay. But it is workable. All right.
Okay.
Now, how do we go about that? Now, this is now introduce me. I will now introduce you to what we call measures in
Okay.
Power BI. What is a measure, really? A measure is basically a calculation. What are those things you usually like to ask yourself? How many violations? How many calls? How many this? Average of this? Count of this? All of those are what we call measures.
Okay.
Are you with me? So the question
Yes.
is, in this your report, what kind of calculations do you want to carry out? Is a question you need to ask yourself. Because I think from one of the things you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the possibility of let me see if I can reference your message again. I think you mentioned some, is it you wanted to see count of is it and the amount of, and this is okay.
Overspeeding.
Exactly, the amount of
Of
interventions, the number of
yes. Yes.
violations, all of it.
Yes.
Now, notice something. I've not mentioned whether it is by contract or whether it is by business or whether it is by driver. I just mentioned how many. Those counts, those sums, those averages, those are what we call measures. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And how
But
do we?
sorry,
Yeah.
Emmanuel. I am loving this Power BI tool because with this now I won't have to merge Lafarge East and West as M and C. I can easily just leave them as Lafarge East, Lafarge West, and do like a graphical representation of the violations for each contract. So it will be very easy for me to do that with Power BI as against my previous reports where I merge NBL, flour mills, and
Okay.
other contracts.
The other merging you talked about, is there a reason why you merge? If there's a reason, I can obviously, I'll show you how to merge here, but is there a reason why you merge so
No,
I
I don't
can?
want to. I don't want. That's what I'm saying. That with Power BI to make it easy for me to report per contract. I don't have to merge. That's what I intend to do going forward. So,
Okay.
okay, I like Power BI in that I can just give it my Excel sheet for each contract. If you notice for the Excel sheet I sent to you, they were
Yeah.
actually categorized into different contracts, OVH, LPG. So with Power BI, it's very easy for me to just drag and paste on the dashboard, and it will give me a graphical representation for each
Of the
contract. That's what
contract.
yes, that's what I
Yeah.
want to do. Yes, that's what I want to do.
All right. For the sake of our conversations, we are looking at Tesco, Walmart, Dubem. What was that? That's name, right?
Bentham, it's a place in the UK. They sell clothes just like
Okay.
Primark. Mm.
Okay. Okay. So in this case, what we do, as I said, let's create a quick measure, right? I'll show you how to create a very quick, a measure in Power BI. All right, because we
Okay.
are going to be using this for every other reporting we'll be doing. You want to calculate something, you want to measure something, you want to get the count of something, you want to get the sum of something, you want to get the average of something. It is advisable to go with measures because the calculation is already stored in memory. So Power BI can now help you break it down into the different dimensions. Now, measures and dimensions are
Okay.
different. The dimensions in this case this could be contracts. So
Okay.
how much sales do we have by contract? That is,
Okay.
the contract is the dimension. The measure in this case is how many.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to
Okay.
show you how to calculate how many. Then we'll now show you how to break it down by the different dimensions. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
let's create a very quick measure here. because one of the things you said is the amount. Let's even look at your data. By the way, let me mention something around this view again. I mentioned it the last time. You have your reports, which is a reporting canvas. You have your data view. So this is basically showing you a view of your data now in Power BI, not necessarily what you had in Excel, right? But what you have now in Power BI to do your report.
Okay.
All right. Some of these columns were not there in Excel before, but we have them in Power BI here, right?
Okay. Okay.
What again? Let me see. Okay, outgoing, incoming. So in this case, each line here, what does it represent? Each line of data here, what does it represent?
A particular thing number, the violation. It's telling us
It says an engagement log, right?
yes.
So in that case, every line here is an engagement.
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, though don't get me wrong, I know if every
Hello. Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
All right. So every line here is an engagement, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's create a measure to count the number of engagements we have in our data. Okay. So if I notice up here, I have something we call new measure.
New measure.
All right.
Okay.
I click on it. Now this is where I introduce you to what we call DAX. DAX.
Okay.
Let me get my notes out so I can use my note to explain while we speak. So DAX. Okay.
Okay.
So what DAX is if I remember well again, data something expression. I'm trying to remember the full meaning again. Sorry, give me a second. DAX Power BI, can you imagine? Data analysis expressions. Thank you very much. I know I always miss that analysis. So it's basically just like in your Excel. You know, in Excel you have formulas which you write. Okay.
Yes.
You have formulas which you write. So DAX are more like formulas you write in Power BI.
Yeah.
And one beautiful thing about DAX is it kind of has something similar to it what you have in Excel. So if you already know Excel before now, switching to DAX will not
be a problem. Hello.
hear me.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Maybe I just have to be sure that everything is working fine because I believe we should hear each other. Can you hear me as I speak?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So if you already know DAX not DAX, if you already know Excel functions, right? You can easily write DAX queries or DAX, sorry, not queries, DAX expressions or DAX formulas because they are similar. But the beauty of DAX is that it actually even improves on what you have in Excel. There are even a lot more functions to write in DAX. Do you understand? But the formula you're going to be writing is what we call DAX, but don't let me bore you with DAX and the likes because what is actually the usage we're interested in discussing in this particular conversation. All right.
Okay.
So when I click on new measure, it gives me a syntax. It gives me something, this empty box here, asking me to write a formula. All right. So in this case, for every formula I want to write, for every measure, let me not call it formula, for every measure I want to write in Power BI, I need to give it a name. All right, I need to give it a name. So the last one I just mentioned right now is I said I wanted to write a formula to count all engagements. Okay. So I will call it. I'll remove everything I wrote as in there. I'll call it engagement count. Okay. And I'll now to once I put equal to every other thing I will write now is now what we call a DAX expression. Okay. I can now. Okay, one DAX expression I want to use in this case is, let me introduce you to number one, count rows. Count rows, okay? What does it do? It counts the number of rows in a table.
Okay.
Are you with me? So you see, you said every line in your data is actually an engagement. It means if we count every line in that particular data, that is how many engagements we had. right?
Okay.
So
I
if I
understand.
select count rows, it's going to ask me, okay, what table do you want to count? The name of my table in this case is called query one. Okay, the name of my table in this case is called query one. Look at it here. The name of my
Okay.
table here is called query one. I can give my
Okay.
table any other name I want, but in this case, the name of my query is called table one, query one. So I'll just look for query one
Okay.
and select it. Once I select query one and I close the bracket, a measure is created. Notice, do you see this here? Do you see
Okay.
this here?
Engagement. Yes.
Engagement count. There's actually engagement count. Let me expand it. Engagement
Okay.
count. Do you
Okay.
see that? Now,
Okay.
notice what I can do. Just like every other thing I had here, I can now drag out my
Drag
engagement
it.
count.
Okay. Okay.
But now notice something. It is just going to give me a number. Like, let me, just like my visualization, let me change it to a card. Just going to give me a number.
Okay.
Okay. But now I want to break down this engagement count by different things. So I
Okay.
can drag out my engagement count. Let's say I want to break it down by contract. I can drag my
Okay.
contract into it as well. Notice
Okay.
something. I now have
Okay.
engagement count by what? Contract.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes, I'm sure.
Remember this initial table we created here, which we just drag contract and the count of call ID. Let me
Yes.
just drag into it.
Engagement
You
count.
notice what happens. It gives me the same result like the count of call ID.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't have to be counting all the time. All I just need to do is just use my engagement count because it's reusable. This engagement count is reusable in anything.
Okay.
I've used it here. I've used it here. I can use it in any. I've used it in this one. I've used it
Okay.
here. I've used it here.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes.
So that is engagement. This one now is engagement count by what? Contract. Are you with
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Let's assume I want to. You want to say something?
No. I'm
Okay.
listening to you.
Okay. Do you have any other particular kind of chart you want to drag out now? Let's see if we can create that one quickly. Give
Okay,
me
let's see
engagement by
engagement
what?
count. Let's do engagement count by call reason.
By call reason.
Is
Fantastic.
it call reason? Call reason contract. Then there's okay, we don't have the it's call reason the
So we have a call
violation.
reason. Local side in
Okay,
here.
yes, that's what I want. That's what I want.
So if I drag I drag the call reason and engagement count
Engagement
into
count.
it, it
Okay.
gives me that one. But of course, I can create this is currently in a table. If I want to make it in any other kind of column chart or
Okay.
a pie chart, a donut chart, I can
Okay.
obviously click on them, right? And
Okay.
it will give that to me in that particular format. Do you
Okay.
understand? But this one is currently in a tabular, in a table.
Okay.
Okay. So if I have other core reasons, they will obviously show down here.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thing you want to see quickly?
Can I see it in a donut chart how it will look like?
Of course, you can see the donut chart. Once I click on a donut chart, it automatically creates. Obviously, I don't have other core reasons here, but it
Okay.
automatically. Let's even. Where is it? Let me go ahead and um. Let me go ahead and just change one or two to um
Overspeeding.
over speeding. Okay, I'll just
Hash
change a couple of
breaking.
them to over speeding. I'll
Hash
change another.
breaking. Hash breaking.
I can change
Night
some other one.
driving. Night driving.
Okay,
Okay.
another one. Another one.
And there's excess driving. That's continuous driving, but it comes out as excess driving on
But you already
engagement.
know how to change that already, right?
Yes,
You know how
yes,
to change that. So
yes.
excess driving, so we can mimic your case, then we can obviously go and change it to continuous drive, excess
Driving.
driving. So I'll save my data. I'll go back
Okay.
to my Power BI report, change the data, right? All I just need to do is come
Okay.
back to Power BI and just hit on refresh, and it will go in there and pull the latest information in that data. Voila.
Wow.
That is the beauty of Power
This
BI.
this is magic.
Well, welcome to the magic world of Power BI. If that's the best way to explain it. Welcome to the magic world of Power BI. So what it just does is it understands your data.
Every other
So I don't
thing
even have
which
to go back to the
no,
other
not again.
query one. Okay, I don't have to go back to
Nah.
one. Oh,
The
okay.
data is already in sync. It already understands. All Power BI knows is that my data is currently connected to this particular file. This file.
Okay.
Are you with me? This particular file. My data is already connected to this file. So what I just need to do is go to that file, run those steps that we created earlier, and do what? Provide the recent data. And this everything comes back into this query. So what Power BI does, it runs through that query, that file, okay, gets the data, runs those steps, as we call them, create new queries, that's keeps laying the what are those words we use now? Beautifying the query. Okay,
Okay.
the
So once
conversation we
I make
had
the
around.
changes on my Excel sheet and I click on refresh on Power BI, it just changes everything that I've done for the new week. Wow.
Exactly, exactly. Do you understand? And if you
Yes.
maintain previous week and new week in the same day in the same table, you can actually even
Okay.
tell Power BI for this report, don't give me data for the previous week. Though all the data exists in the same table, all right.
Okay.
But you can tell
Okay.
Power BI for my reports, give me for this week only. You are telling Power BI, Excel has all the data. Excel has the data from January till date. Are you with me?
Yes.
Excel has the data from January, but you're telling Power BI, give me the one for this week only.
Okay.
Are you with me? We can do all of
Yes.
that inside of Power BI here. Okay. Now this is for engagement count by the core reason. And now you go into, of course, beautifying or placing things the way they want them to be. Let's assume I want this one to be here.
Okay.
I want to add the text at the top there. Violation, no, engagement on report. Okay, I call it my engagement report and give it name. That's beautify stuff. No, it's not going to be up to you to how you want to make things. Okay, engagement report. This is not all though. I need to mention this is you are just starting, right?
Okay.
I just you say you're Yoruba, right?
Yes, I
So
am.
Yoruba would say
Asheshebere.
àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ àṣẹmọyẹ bọ̀ lápò, right?
You tried.
Exactly. So you're just starting, right? àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀
Okay.
indeed. So in this case, it's not going to be up to you to place things where you want them to be, and your report is ready. Now, one thing I love to, I would say, wow people with, though I don't expect it to be too much of a wow, but I love to wow people with that. So you don't see Power BI to just be another replica of Excel. Is this? Notice something. There's a time we discussed about slicers, right, in Excel.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now notice something about Power BI, and which is why I love the interactivity of Power BI. Sometimes you don't even have to take your report out of Power BI or start taking screenshots. If you want to enjoy Power BI, clicking on Tesco here, for instance, see what happens. Clicking on Tesco on this chart here, see what happens. It filters my
Wow.
report and gives me
Like
just for
sliders.
Tesco. Do you
Okay.
understand? It shows
Yes.
me my report just for Tesco and tells me, oh, Tesco is the one with Tesco also has a high amount of you can see engagement count is 194, but
Okay.
Tesco has 70 out of
Okay.
194. So engagement count for Tesco is 17.
Wow. I like this
Just
particular part.
do you understand?
I think
It
I will
gives
also use
you
it.
so instead of waiting, instead of filtering or start giving your report in as a screenshot, you can just in your conversation there, you are having people understand that once I click on Duben Mass, it gives me for Duben Mass, we discuss about Duben Mass in this particular conversation. Do you understand?
Okay.
Then if I want to
Okay.
talk about Walmart, if I want to point out
Walmart.
something about Walmart in particular, I can now say,
Okay.
okay, look at Walmart. Notice that overspeeding is what Walmart is actually dealing with. Yes, they actually do a lot more of local siding, but we have a lot more overspeeding in Walmart. Do you understand? These are
Okay.
conversations that you can start having. The interactivity Power BI
Okay.
gives you. But
Okay.
notice something, everything was built on the foundation of
Okay.
that
So now that you clicked on Walmart, it will now break it down into local, just for Walmart, into
for
local
Walmart.
siding.
Everything just
Oh,
for
okay.
Walmart. Do you
Okay.
understand? Every of the charts you have on the screen gets
Okay.
filtered for Walmart.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me see for
Every of the
Tesco
charts
again.
for Tesco. Yeah, this for Tesco.
Okay.
I don't know if you notice the difference in the chart in the shape of the chart.
Yes.
Okay, but if you want, there's a way to even make this. I can tell Power BI, you know what? I can go to my, I think that's under, no, is it view? No, that should be format, edit interactions, format, edit interactions. Anytime I click on this one, filter this table. I'll tell Power BI, filter this particular table, or filter this
Okay.
particular chart. I need them to separate, I need them to be separate. So anytime I click on this one,
Okay.
anytime I click on this particular one, filter this one. Okay, so
Okay.
instead of leaving everything together, notice the difference. One is highlight, the other one is filter. Okay,
Okay.
highlight means just bring out for this one only, but
Okay.
filter is going to give you. Now notice the difference. If I click on Walmart right now, it gives me
Okay.
for Walmart only. It
Okay.
filters for Walmart only. If I click on
Okay.
Dubemas, it filters for Dubemas only.
Demands only.
But if I
Okay.
click on Dubemas again, it brings for everybody back because there's no filter.
Okay.
Now notice the
Okay.
difference between this interaction and this, and let's assume I'm clicking on the local, I want to use my engagement reason, right?
Okay.
And filter my contract. I want to highlight the contract. Let me see the between the both of them. Hold on. Let me see the interaction between both of them. Interaction between both of them is if I click on this one, highlight that one. So notice the difference. If I click
Okay.
on hash breaking,
Okay.
notice what happens. My chart is still full, but it just highlights the ones with the
Okay.
hash breaking. That is the difference
Okay.
between highlighting and filtering. Okay.
Okay.
If I click on overspeeding, it gives me the guy that has overspeeding. It highlights only the one that has
Okay. And
overspeeding.
there are 8 counts.
And there are 8 counts of, thank you very much. There are 8 counts of
Okay.
overspeeding.
Okay.
Do you
Wow.
understand? If I want to do for night driving, I do the same thing. Oh, it gives me as the Bearman's that has, and notice the
With
table on
this,
the
I
left
don't even
hand.
have to do like 5 or 6 pages with Power BI. I can just do like 2 pages, and I'll be able to um tell my story to the people at Ops meeting that this and this has happened during the week. So I don't have
That's
to
it.
have like up to 6 pages on the PowerPoint to
Thank you
tell
very
what
much.
has happened. Yes.
Because with this one, you're already having the interactivity you are looking for.
Yes.
You are able to click on something and get almost immediate insight into what you are looking for. That is the beauty of Power BI. And this is just level one or even level zero, ground level of
Are you
interactivity you can actually
serious?
have with Power BI.
I
There are
can imagine.
situations, there are
I
situations
can imagine
whereby
what we'll be doing when we get to the 4th session.
though again, I need to explain something because everything is really going to depend on your use case. Okay.
Okay.
Because the kind of data I would say I have played with, right, may not be the kind of data you have played with, and for
Okay.
obvious reasons, right?
Reasons. Okay.
Yeah. And let me explain that there's a time when you need to see data of year one, year two, year three to go to a
Okay.
quarterly level. These are different things. That's going to a hierarchical level of I can click
Okay.
on a particular year, drill down to the next year.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Oh, God. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
This
I
network needs to
can
stop
hear
doing this.
you now. Yeah.
Right? For
Yes.
today's session before we round up would be
Okay.
other kind of measures you
Okay.
can create. The ones I just showed you right now is just for I just showed you a count rows. I can create another measure to say calculate an average.
Okay.
Okay. Let's assume for your data you want to calculate the average age of something, or you want like we calculated age at some point. You
Yes.
want to calculate the average age of something, not because we need it for this particular conversation, but just because we want to learn how to create it. I can create a
Okay.
measure let's assume you have all your overspeeding counts in
Okay.
in one column, all right, and you want to sum them up, or you want to calculate the average. What can you do? I can tell Power BI, okay, average, I'm giving, remember your measure has to be given a name, okay,
Yes.
average age, okay,
Okay.
I'll now do equal to, then the function, or the function we use in this case is going to be called average. It's called average, okay.
Okay.
There are so many of them. There are so many functions you can use. Honestly, there are so many functions you can use to create a measure. But we're obviously just starting out with the different the
Hello. Hello. Hello.
I can really hear you over here. It's just so strange
Okay.
that this happens over and over again. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I was talking of the average function. So average,
Okay.
once I select it, it's going to ask me average of what? Can you see it's
Okay.
asking me average of column what? So the name
Okay.
of the column I want to find the average of in this case is average what? Age. So I'll select the age and I'll
Okay.
close the bracket. And just like our engagement count we had earlier, I can drag my average age into any other conversation, any other chat I want to use here. Now
Okay.
notice something, I have my average age here. Even in
Okay.
this one, I can drag the average age into it as well. So in this case, I'll have to, can see I have the engagement count and my average age,
Age.
okay?
Okay. Okay.
Let's even see, let me even make that one more interesting. Let me make it one bar chart and one column chart and one line chart. So I'll make this one a line
Okay.
chart.
I like this one.
I'll make this one a line chart. I'll make this one a line chart. Average age should be a line chart. Okay, so average age is a line chart, while the what's it called? The engagement count is a column chart.
Okay.
You can, the truth right now is you can just start exploring, start churning out reports. As I said, this canvas here is just like where you do when you're done with your makeup. What is that word you called it earlier?
Blending.
Blending. This is where you make people appreciate the work you have done in the whole foundational work you've done. Okay,
Okay.
this is where you put all of that out. You want to create a pie chart to represent, throw one out here. You want to create a column chart to represent, throw one out here. You want to create
Okay.
you want, okay, let me go show you how to add a filter just for the sake of this conversation as well. um I've added my pie chart. I've added my pie chart, my donut chart actually. I keep calling it pie chart. Let me put this one down here. Okay. Let me put this one down here. I put
Okay.
this one here. It's just for you to blend them as you deem fit. Okay. You
Okay.
blend them as you deem fit, as you deem fit, as you deem fit. Okay. So I put I put this one here.
Okay.
Then I want to add a filter. A filter is also under a visualization here. It's actually called a slicer,
Okay.
as we know it in Excel. So I want to slice data. When I put my slicer here, it's going to give me, of
Okay.
course, blank space. What possibly do I want to slice my data by? It can be date. It can be it can be a date. It can be it can be by the call reason. It can be by the channel. Just determine what you want to really slice it by. Okay.
Bye. Okay.
Let's even say state for the sake of conversation. For the sake of this conversation, I want to drag state into my slicer. Okay.
Okay.
Notice it creates a slicer for, so I can put my, okay, and let me even put that one up here. I put my state slicer here. Notice it has all the states in here. So once I select a particular state, let's select Cross River, see what happens. Everything on the chart gets filtered for Cross River only.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Everything gets filtered for Cross River only. Let's say I don't want state, I want to make it by contract. I want to put the contract in the states. I want to replace, so I can select by the contract. If I want to select for Texco, once I select Texco, everything for Texco is filtered on the page. If I select for Walmart, everything Walmart is filtered on the page.
On the page. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So, and beautifying or blending it further, let me keep using that word for the sake of this conversation. Blending it further, if you want to make things look cooler, you want to add colors, you want to do all of that stuff, what you can do is select any one of the visualizations you brought out
Sorry,
there.
Emmanuel, my network, it went off.
Again, okay. So I was talking, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, I'll have to wait for you. Can you hear me
Hello?
now? Please confirm when you
Yes, I
can hear
can
me.
hear you. Yes, I
All right.
can.
So I can, what's it? Beautify any other thing I have here. How do I beautify any visual I have here? What I do is I can go here, see this format here, select the visual, go to format. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Hello?
I want to
Yes, yes,
follow in
I'm
because
back.
of the network. Okay.
Yes, I
So
don't know what's happening. It's just
once I click on format, okay, I'm given options to adjust a particular visual. Are you with me? Then I can select, in this case, I can select the position. Please confirm that you can hear me.
it, it keeps going on and off. Let me change the location of the phone. Okay, let's try now.
All right. I can choose to, the legend is obviously this one here. I can choose to make it at the top, or I can choose to put it at the bottom, depending on where I deem it fit. Okay. I can choose to remove the title of the core reason. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, I can choose to format this chart the way I feel I deem fit. I can each of the core reasons if I want to.
Okay.
Okay, I can add, if I want to put values, these values I format them. I can go through all of this and change the format on them. I can just select any visual and try to
Sorry,
change.
Emmanuel, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, please. Hello? Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm back.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
All right.
I'm back.
Okay. So I was just already writing down what I believe will be discussing next, like
Next,
adding data
okay.
from multiple data sources through the lesson guide again. Maybe we'll talk about calculated tables then, and we can then start talking about data relationships. When we have data from multiple sources, then we can start talking about data relationships. Okay, but you already
Okay.
understand the concepts. We were able to do a lot more transformation than we
Yes.
did the last time. So by the next time
Okay.
we'll be meeting, hopefully we'll be able to close out on everything on lesson 3 and maybe touch a bit
Okay.
of lesson 4. But some of lesson 4 we started already because we already started working on visuals.
Okay.
and all of those things. But we'll not talk about custom visualizations and
Okay.
all of that. So we'll
Okay.
look at how to format our pages and the
Okay.
likes. Modifying colors in chat. I actually had mentioned it already in this session, but obviously we keep doing that when. But I don't want this conversation to end here. I really want your own real user experience, because that is actually what helps drive the knowledge home. By the time you
Okay.
experience it, you have the issues, you probably drop a message and it's attended to, you are
Okay.
good. As against
Okay.
what Emmanuel is saying, because as I said, for me, I'm having fun, okay?
Okay.
Because I've experienced these things before. I know what it
Okay.
feels like, and the only way you can tell the story better is if you have gone through it and you're
Okay.
experiencing it, and you're like, oh, I was stopped here. I got a hiccup here. How do I fix this particular one? And so on and so forth. So
Okay.
formatting your chart, I talked about it earlier. You can come under this format here, which is your direct. Select the visualization.
Okay.
For every one of the visual you have here, you'll be given an option of how to change the or format that particular visual. Okay,
Okay.
play with options and see what they look like in the end.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
your slicer you have here, you can even change it. There's one cool way I love to present my slicers. If I come here, if I change this one to horizontal, for instance, I love this particular kind of slicer. So it gives me this slicer. I love using this slicer a lot. So this is the same slicer we had before, but
Okay.
in a different way, that once I just click on one, it filters everything as well. Once I click on another one, it filters. So everything really is going to now based on what are you trying to achieve? Okay, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to achieve? We keep building up, and that is the only way you can get better using Power BI. So that is what I have to offer today. At least we've been able to
Today.
cover
Okay.
um, a lot around transformation,
Okay.
um, and what's that transformation, extensive transformations, and bringing them into Power BI to create a report on that. Then by the next session, we will start talking about adding more than one data source to our report. I don't think I mentioned, I think I must have done this in the previous conversation in a different. Let's try to present our report using by adding a date to it. You know, you have a date in this table, right? Submitted that. Let's see what it looks.
Okay.
So currently you can see it shows me 2020, right?
Okay.
Because Power BI already understands that all the data in my data currently exists in 2020. But I can tell Power
2020.
BI, you know what? I think you're too smart for my liking. I don't want you to. Right now, it has broken my data into year, quarter, month, and day. Are you with
Okay.
me? And
Yes.
if I want to go to quarter, if I want to see my report on a quarterly basis, all I need to do is right click on this report now and expand to the next level. And it will take me to 2020. If there is more data in this, you will now see it on a quarterly basis: 2020 Q1, 2020 Q2, 2020 Q3, and 2020 Q4. Are you with me?
Okay.
But in this
Yes.
case, I'm telling Private, I don't want that. I want it to give me my date and time the way I gave it back to you. So if I tell it Power BI, don't use the date hierarchy, just give me a submitted at. Notice what happens. It brings out my data in obviously different columns with the different times that this particular event had occurred.
Okay.
Okay. But the way you appreciate this data a lot more is when you have data from different periods, let's say a different week or a different month or a different year, and you have them in one report. Power BI can then help you easily show your report on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis. All of
Okay.
this uh, Power BI is all going to boil down to what is that one thing you want to deliver? What is that one thing you want to achieve? So that is
Okay.
where I will rest my case for today, and I would love to
Okay.
take questions, feedback, and we can
Okay.
then.
So when I'm done with creating this dashboard, can I copy and paste on PowerPoint?
Okay, one that's yes, you can copy and paste, but the way you copy and paste is most likely going to be using your snipping tool
Oh,
to
okay.
snipe the screen and place them in your power. But you won't have interactivity. You won't be able to play
Yes,
with the
show them.
report
Yes, yes.
in PowerPoint. However, you can also make your for people who you to an extent you can actually use PDF in your in a PowerPoint format, like in a presentation format. You can actually use PDF to
Okay.
achieve the similar result. So you can
Okay.
actually export this report to PDF by coming here, click on export and sorry, export to PDF. See down here.
Okay. Okay.
So once you export to PDF, it gives you all the pages of your report in a PDF
Okay.
format.
Okay.
Do you understand? In
Okay.
a PDF format, which means you can simply just click. When you're done with page 1, press next. You go to page 2,
Okay.
talk around it, page 3, talk around it, page 4, talk around it. So that's
Oh,
what Power BI gives you here. But when you
okay.
publish your reports to the Power BI service, which we will be discussing most likely in the fourth, in our fourth section, this is section 2, which we'll be discussing in our fourth section. All right, when we talk about the Power BI service, the Power BI service gives you an option of downloading your reports in PowerPoint format if you're interested.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it
Okay.
gives you option of downloading your reports in a PowerPoint format. But until we get there, we can then talk
Okay.
about how to publish your report to Power BI service and how to download it
Okay.
back to PowerPoint.
Point. Okay. Okay. I understand. Okay. Thank you,
All right. Any
Emmanuel.
questions, feedback,
No,
comments you'd like to? Okay.
that's all for now.
Okay. How about comments, feedback? Because feedback again is very important because we'll know how to make the session even more better or to make the sessions better, more interesting and the like. So I would love to hear your
Okay.
feedback
Okay.
or
Um,
comments.
I really don't know anything about Power BI. I'm a learner, so but from all we've done today, I feel it's something that is quite easy and is an easy to use tool. So it's something that one could easily learn. It doesn't look as complicated as I thought it would be. I was
I'm happy
thinking
to
that I'll
hear
have to
that.
go over the recording like 5 times because to me it was always looking like magic. But
Okay.
it's really easy from the way
All
you,
right.
maybe it's you, maybe it's the way you explained it though, but because I actually tried to learn on YouTube and I couldn't get anything. Like I even was at the end of the day I was more confused than when I
Right.
started. So
Okay.
so it's really easy to learn from the way easy to use rather from the way you've explained it. So I'm
All
looking
right. Thank
forward
you
to
very
the
much.
next session.
All right, no problem. We'll definitely agree on our next section and fix a date
Okay.
and time for it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for partaking in this session today.
Thank you,
Um,
Emmanuel.
please put it to use. Only then can we actually say we have done
Yes, I
justice to this
definitely will.
particular. So hopefully before the
Yeah.
next time we'll be having our session, we must have probably had some even private interaction as regards what you're working on and how to deal
Yes,
with what
yes,
you're working on. And
yes.
then by the time we are having our next conversation, we are actually having a much more advanced conversation than just what we had today. Okay.
Okay,
With
okay.
with lesson 1 and lesson 2 right now, trust me, you are good to actually deliver Power BI reports like a
Yes,
pro, honestly.
I'll try
So
to do
please,
it. Maybe I might just do the copy and paste first for this week, but
no problem.
next week I'll try to pull it out on the link. Or you said it's in the fourth session. We'll learn that one now.
Which one? No, yeah, you can use your do your report on Power BI if you are when you're done.
I'll
Take it.
just
You can.
export to
The truth is, you
PDF.
can actually present your Power BI. You can export to PDF, or you can actually present your Power BI during your session, depending on what you're
Okay,
comfortable
okay,
with.
okay, okay.
Just like you share your screen. I don't know if you are, I don't know if it's a virtual session. If it's a virtual
Yes,
session,
it's a
you can
virtual
actually,
session.
all you just need to do is make sure you are ready before the session. Play with the
Okay,
reports, what you want to share with them, right?
okay, okay,
Um, prepare ahead of time that this
okay,
is what you want to share with them, and click, make sure everything so that when you're going to the session, you are just discussing and you're just flowing. Do you understand? But again,
okay,
if you face any hiccups at the beginning, don't worry, you won't be the first.
okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
and
you,
do
Emmanuel.
enjoy the rest of your weekend. Okay.
Okay, you too. Because I know you're heading to your wedding.